as you said, we're not in a swing state, so our votes feel depressingly meaningless. But
he was a former governor that was reelected in a Democratic Republican governor, because you can't get elected as a Libertarian, so he ran as a Republican. He was a Libertarian, and we see what he did. He reduced government, he reduced spending, and everyone was happy. He increased jobs, and the country and the state reelected him at a huge margin. Same with Weld. He was another governor of another state, elected Republican governor, elected in a Democrat state. And they love to elect, I wish you knew what they wanted. They want to cut some of the excess government, cut some of the excess taxes, without the Republican actually pushing a Republican social conservative agenda.
But this is the problem, though, is what's defined as excess government. Because there are things, my personal belief on a lot of issues where the government gets involved. Look at something like affirmative action. Should we need it? No. Do we? Yes. Because, it would be great. It would be great for the government to not be the nanny government that so many people like to complain about. But in a lot of cases, when the people act like children, someone needs to step in and take care of things. And unfortunately for us, in this case, that person or entity is the government.
Affirmative action has failed to help those that it intends to help, and has mostly helped middle class and upper class minorities instead of the poor minorities it's supposed to help. So we're looking at it again.
Well, I mean, if everything
was
if it was a level playing field from the very beginning, you would have never needed.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, should we need it?
But affirmative action doesn't solve that problem, because we're not getting
it. But it does more than doing nothing.
But we're asking you to be fair. But when you inject racism, and you had the Jim Crow laws, you had all these different, you wouldn't need any of this crap if you quit judging people by the color of their skin.
Couldn't agree with you more there.
Yeah, I mean, but then you say, you don't want government, but then man's nature is bad because he's out to screw people. He has screwed people for so long. If you were fair, we wouldn't need half the shit that we have, but
more government doesn't make it more fair.
You look at the recent Supreme Court decision to get rid of the laws, monitoring the vote in certain southern states, and they say, there's no racism, there's no problem. We don't need those laws anymore. And as soon as those laws were taken off the table, voter restriction just started overflowing. It was ridiculous. So, whereas in my heart I would love to be able to support libertarians, I just can't, because I've met people, and people are horrible.
Generally terrible.
Well, because of the ignorance of our society, and something that has been pushed for so long. I mean, whether it's things against women, men, gays, whatever. I mean, you cannot. It just has never been fair for the people. So you have to have some government to control people who are trying to con the rest and get over on everyone else. It's just never been
Libertarians
fair.
are against force and fraud, and the government should stop force and fraud when it happens.
Well,
the too big to fail should have never happened.
It shouldn't have.
Why? Well, because
Libertarians are against the bailouts, which was done by Obama horrendously.
Well, no, he didn't start it, but, I mean, you handed him a pile of shit. I mean, but deregulation is what got you in your problem.
It wasn't deregulation. It was actually more regulation.
Well,
they called it deregulation to sell it to people, but Obama had QE3, which is endless, continuous bailouts, weekly bailouts to the rich.
I'm saying that once you deregulated the banks, when you took away regulation from the banks,
it wasn't deregulated. It was re-regulated to help certain people.
Mark, you're talking about what happened as a result, and Timon is talking about what caused. Yeah. And speaking of cause and results, it is time to end yet another episode of The Cause Effect. Want to thank Mark Selzer for coming in. Mark, before you run out, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Me?
Well, what do you got coming up this week?
Go to my website at markselzer.com.
There you go.
You know what? I would say the same damn thing. Go to my website, ericaschickle.com.
Okay, MarkSelzer.com, EricaSchickel.com. Thank you for coming in, Mark Timon. You got anything to plug this week?
I'm plugging that I am on my way to do a cruise gig on November 2nd to November 14th. Royal Caribbean on Brilliance of the Sea.
Quick,
So
book passage now.
Exactly. Don't travel steerage like Leonardo DiCaprio.
If you swim fast, you might be able to catch him in Cozumel.
Yeah.
And, of course, we got a great show at Muse on 8th tomorrow night. We got, actually, it's going to be a little bit of a cause effect special. Time and Ship is going to be on the show. Carl Kozlowski is going to be there. I will be there. We got some other great comics. It's going to be a fantastic time. Muse on 8th, Seismic, Sunday night at 7. Woo-hoo. Come on out, and thank you, as always, for listening to The Cause Effect.
Captain.
Carl will be back next week, and as our special pre-election show. Sorry, rest of the country, but we are going to be focusing on some of the ballot measures hitting California. Because that is where everyone on this show happens to live at this moment.
Oh, my God. You've just sent the rest of America into a tailspin. What will they listen to next week?
I don't know. Mark Maron probably has someone good on. So, but no, listen to The Cause Effect next week, especially if you live in California. Thank you, as always. We'll see you next week. Bye!